Is that Facebook?
Yes.
You know, even if it's not, even when you're done, it'll say the
Good morning, guys. Thanks for joining. Getting ready to get started to make some of your skin food. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Clinique. Today I'm making some spinach soap, so I'm doing a little bit behind the scenes. Hey, Tarek. So making natural products is the same as cooking. Although I'm not good at cooking, but I can throw down when it comes to making natural products. So I'm getting ready to mix up the base for your soaps. And I have to wear protective gear because this can be a little dangerous. I'm not trying to burn myself. This is not your melt and pour soaps. Your melt and pour soaps, you just melt it down and add your ingredients. But with hot process and cold process, you're starting from the bottom. Black seed oil is amazing. Okay, I'm going to put this mask on for a few minutes and then I'll answer any questions. So a lot of people ask about lye and if you can buy soap without lye. No, you can't. Every soap is made with lye. There's actually another way called wood ash, but I don't know about wood ash. So I'm stirring the lye now and it can get very fumy, so I'm going to cover my mouth again. So in order to make soap, you have to have lye because that's the part that binds the soap together with your oils. So that's what I'm mixing up now. And you can see it's very cloudy. I got to mix it up until it gets a little clear. And I don't know if you can see, but it's 196 degrees, so that's not something you want to play with. And my oils are 205 degrees, so I have to be very careful in the kitchen. Thank you, Maggie. I don't know if you can see it, but the smoke is coming up out of the lye. And just for you to know, when you're making soaps, I'm making what you call hot process. Hot process is a type of soap that when you make it, you can use within 2 weeks. Cold process is where you gotta wait 4 to 6 weeks. So I much rather this process because I sell out of my soaps pretty quick. Also, by the time I'm done, my soaps are what you call saponified. So the lye is not in the soap. Cold process, the lye stays in the soap until the next 48 to 72 hours. Then there's no more lye in the soap. And while I'm mixing, if you have any questions, I'll answer now. I got a few more minutes to stir. Yes, Maggie, safety first. As you can see, it's getting clearer. The temperature now is 190, and I have to continuously take the temperature of the oils and the lye because when I mix them together, I need them to be about 10 degrees apart. I'm going to give it another minute. Tarek, you was asking about black seed oil. Black seed oil is actually an oil I am going to add to my line because it's very beneficial for your skin. And I thank you for joining me, guys. I know it's like work hours and stuff like that, but I just wanted to jump on while I was at it. Okay, so I'm going to mix the lye water with the oils. My oils are already mixed. People usually do their soaps in a crock pot. I started in a crock pot, and then as I got bigger, now I'm in the stock pot. After this next step, I'll have to get one of those melting machines. But right now, I'm able to make 10 pounds of soap at one time, so that gives me 50 bars of soap. Which is amazing because I used to only make 18 bars of soap at a time until I realized I'm wasting a lot of time. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now we have the lye with the oils, and I'm going to have the drill on, so if you want to mute your phone for a little bit until I finish mixing this up. Just so you can see what it looks like first. Sorry. This is it now. And you'll see in just a few minutes. I'm going to add some sugar to the soap because it adds heat, and it also helps the soap bubble. And anybody that likes some good soap, you like some bubble and lather. So what I'm doing is bringing the soap to trace, because once it's to trace, then it'll start cooking. So you can see it's a little thicker than it was before, and it's starting to emulsify. It's not done yet. It's getting thick. It's getting there. I'm going to give it just a second. So I'm going to cover the soap for just a minute and let it get a little hotter, because the heat will start bringing it together. Do you have any questions, Maggie? Maggie, as I'm waiting, you have any questions? Or is your phone still on mute? Hey, Joaquin. How are you? Hi, Nelda. This is actually the fastest process when it comes to soap making. Hot process soap with low temperature can take about 45 minutes to an hour. When I first started hot processing, it would take me 1 or 2 hours. It took a long time. But this process is actually faster because I'm using high temperature oils and high temperature lye water. So it's much faster than before. I'm going to go ahead and blend it a little bit longer because as I blend it, it'll bring up the heat. And I'm supposed to keep my protective gear at all times, but once I take it off, I forget to put it back on, which is not good. And if you see, the more I blend, the thicker it gets. So what I'm doing now is just blending it so it can start cooking faster. When a soap has a lot of olive oil, it takes longer for it to trace. Much thicker now. If this cord would stop coming in the soap, that would be amazing. The soap is emulsified. Now it's going to take a minute for it to start going through the next phase. When it's nice and thick like that, it's getting ready to start to cook. And what I'm making today is our spinach soup. I'm going to cover it for a second so it can start to do its volcano action. Do you guys have any questions in the meantime? I'm sure some of you never even thought about the process of making soap. It's actually fun. It's a lot of fun. Especially when you get to use your own additives, you use your own essential oils, you mix up blends. A lot of stuff that you eat, you can put in soap. A lot of things that you use on your body, you can put in soap. Oatmeal, spinach. This one is the spinach soap. We have our turmeric soap. We have our pine tar soap. We have our Haitian chocolate soap made with Haitian chocolate from Haiti. So I try to get very creative in what I put in my soaps. And I make sure I research what the properties are for the soap before putting it into the soap, so that there's always something beneficial in my soaps when you use it on your skin. And that's why my line is called Donata Skinfood, because I want you to think of what you put on your skin is what goes into your body. So when you start thinking of it that way, everything that you put on your skin, you'll start thinking twice, like, am I feeding my body, or am I just using some product that is harmful to my body? Because it's going to be one or the other. It's going to be good for you or it's not. So a lot of commercial products that have all the parabens, SLS, chemicals, fragrances, especially products that have fragrances in it, people do not understand how it affects your body and your mind. So I did start my line with products that had fragrance in it until I understood the damage it can cause to your body, along with a whole bunch of stuff that we use, like deodorant that has aluminum. So once I understood how what we put on our skin affects our body, I started phasing out of a lot of stuff that I put in my products. So for the last year, 2016, is when my line became vegan, so I don't use any animal products in my line. And I think about 2 years ago is when I started phasing out of using any type of fragrances in my products. And you don't realize how many things have fragrance in it until you start cutting it out. So I'm at a point where none of my products in the house, whether it's detergent, dishwashing liquid, all the Febreze I used to put throughout the house, we don't have any of that in the house. So my system has become desensitized from fragrance. So if somebody comes around with fragrance, or, oh, there we go, I'm talking so much, my soap is going over. Yeah, that's what you don't do. So, lesson of the day, pay attention to when you're making soap, because it will bubble over. And that's never happened to me before. I usually put a saran wrap over it so that I can see when this is happening. But clearly, I can't do more than one thing at a time. So talking and making soap is not a good combination for me. Good thing I cleaned this counter very well before starting. So anything that bubbled over, I'm just picking it up. And I think this has happened to at least one soaper. This has happened to every soaper at least one time in their life where their soap bubbles over. So this is my first time. Of course, it would be on live, on Facebook Live. I also have other videos of me making different soaps on my Skinfood channel called Donata Skinfood. I have 2 playlists, one that teaches you about the skin called Skinfood Friday, and one that shows you how to make soap. So you're more than welcome to join at any time and subscribe and check it out. So what you saw that happened earlier is my soap is volcanoing. This is what you call the volcano stage. If you can see, I hope you can see it, I'm not sure. Yeah, you see the soap is coming up on its own. So when you let that happen, it's going to bubble over like what just happened to me. So you want to make sure you whisk it, and you can see the heat is coming out of the soap. So what's happening in the pot, the soap is cooking on its own. And what you do is you just keep mixing it until the heat stops rising. I'm so happy this didn't get on the floor. This would have been a mess to clean. So in just a few more minutes, we'll have soap that is completely saponified. Right now, you can see two colors to it, a clear and a beige. So that beige part shows you that the soap is not completely cooked. The clear part shows that the soap is completely cooked. So I'm going to keep mixing it. So that it could continue soap cooking on its own. I will check the temperature of the soap. Oh, this soap is really hot. 258 degrees. Don't mind the soap that's on it. 258 degrees. That's why well, now it's dropped to 246. That's why we advise, if you are a new soaper, this is not one method you want to do. It's very dangerous because you're soaping at very high temperatures. First of all, the lye is dangerous in its own, and then you mix it with your oils that are at 200 degrees and higher. It's not something you want to play with. So you should always have gloves. At the beginning, you have your eyes and mouth covered. You should have your feet covered. Okay, looking at the soap right now, it looks like it's completely cooked because I don't see any more beige areas. Everything is, this is what we call the gel look. It's see-through. So my soap is done. So what I'm going to do now, as I said at the beginning, this is hot process. So the difference between hot process and cold process soap, hot process, I can put what I want in the soap after it's cooked. And that's what gives you the benefits that you feel on the soap, if it's moisturizing, if it's hydrating, because I get to pick what I put in the soap after it cooks. When you do cold process soap, the lye picks what oils it wants to eat up and leave what oils it wants to leave. So you don't have control of what oils is in your soap after the cook. So that's why I make all my soaps hot process, because I want to have control. Sorry, a call came in. I want to have control after the cook. So now the soap is cooked, I'm going to put my superfat. And superfat is what gives that extra moisture at the end of your soap, depending on what you put. In this soap, I have moringa and sunflower. And majority of my soaps are organic products. So this moringa is from Haiti, cold pressed. I'm so excited that I've connected with a company in Haiti because I'll be buying more bulk products from Haiti. So I'm going to put this in our soap and mix it in. And give it 5 minutes to absorb into the soap. And if you've ever thought about starting your own natural product or doing your own business, I say get started and you learn along the way. Something as simple as me starting to make soaps that were only 9 bars per batch to now 50 bars per batch. I learned everything on my own. and I practice a lot. So here's an example. While this is warming, while this is coming together, I'll explain to you one thing that I did. So soaping molds can be a little expensive. So what I did is I made my own. So in business, you don't always have to have the money up front. You just got to find a way. You got to think outside the box and kind of do things on your own. And scaling up from 3-pound batches to 10-pound batches, I had to learn to make my own molds so I can hold more soaps. Let me take a look at this real quick and see if there's any questions. Maggie asked about sugar. Yes, sugar gives the soaps bubbles, and it helps heat the soap so I can cook faster. And Fritz, you'll have to leave your number or inbox me your number so I can call you. As this is coming together and absorbing, I'm going to get the spinach and my essential oils. So in here we have spinach and we have some other yummy goodness for your body. Listen, when I call this skin food, I am really feeding the skin. So all this is spinach. I don't know if you can see. Spinach mixed with 2 other clays that are beneficial for your body. And I also put lemongrass essential oil. That's what makes this soap so yummy. Let me just double check that I didn't miss anything. Okay, I have everything together. I'm going to give it another 2 more minutes. And we're almost done, guys. Once I mix these 2 together, mix it up really well, I put it in the mold, it's a wrap. So I try to keep my soap making under 40-45 minutes all together from beginning to end. Do you have any questions in the meantime while I wait another minute or 2 for this to come together? Just to show you what the soap looks like right now. Let me check the temperature. When I'm putting, I need the temperature to come down. When I'm putting my essential oils, I try personally to make sure the temperature is less than 185 degrees. That's just me. Other soapers do higher temperature and other soapers do lower temperature. You just got to find what works for you when you're making your soaps. Or if you ever decide to make soaps. Thank you, Fritz. You know what, Fritz? I'm going to put my number on here so you could call me as soon as this is done, because I'm going to be honest with you. I'll tell you, I'll call you and completely forget. So I'm putting my number here. So once this live feed is done, just please call me. Because I will forget. It doesn't take nothing for me to get distracted and forget what I said I'm going to do. Okay, so as I'm waiting for the temperature to come down, I'm going to start putting the spinach in here and start mixing it up. Now the thing about spinach is it has such a beautiful color at the beginning, but as time passes, it gets lighter and lighter. So I'll get people that look at me and say, this is spinach soap, and it looks like more like sunflower soap because it's gotten light. So I added some kelp in here, hoping that it will keep the color, because right now it looks like it's army green. And I do it little by little to make sure the spinach incorporates all throughout the soap. Okay, I'm going to add the rest. And we leave no product behind. One thing about making natural products, you don't want to waste anything because it does cost. So you can see the soap is green, nice pretty army color. And the temperature is much lower now. The temperature is 172, so I'm going to go ahead and start pouring the essential oil. Let that blend in really, really well. And then the next thing is molding the soap, and we're done, guys. And what I did is I added the essential oil to some of the clays so that it holds the scent really well in the soap. Okay, time to mix this up really well. If you notice, I don't know if you can see the essential oil kind of sitting at the top here. Got to mix it up really well into the soap. And I'm going to be honest with you. At first the soap smells stink, and then the smell of the spinach kind of dies out and the lemongrass takes over. So one thing I learned about soap, don't panic about the smell the first day. Especially when you're using herbs and clays and powders, because those odors will dissipate after a while. As you can see, the essential oil is no longer sitting at the top. It's kind of blended in now. I tell you, this is a workout. Do this every day. I'm going to have strong arms. Okay. Everything is incorporated, making sure I got everything at the bottom. And now it's time to mold the soap. You got to be careful too. You don't want your soap to get dry, because then it'll crack and fall apart. I like to slap it in, make sure it gets to the bottom. Sorry, I should have warned you. There's going to be some tapping now. I'm going to tap. And the little extra soaps that are in here, that's what I scrape up for the family to use. Okay guys, this is it. My 10-pound soap. Here's your spinach soap. So it will be ready in 2 weeks. Make sure you pick yours up at the Yellow Green Farmers Market, or hit me up and I can send it to you. The only thing is, my online store is crappy because I spend so much time making products. Sorry, another call tried to come in. I spend so much time making products that I haven't had time to build my website like I should. So I think the only soap that's on the website is a pine tar, but I have all my soaps in stock. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. Even after this live feed, I'll definitely answer your questions. Thank you for watching. Your spinach soap will be ready in 2 weeks. You have a blessed day. Bye.